Surf's up, guys? It's Mauisnake here, and today we're going to be doing a Pick'Ems video brought to you by Pickstop, and you can go to their website, pickstop.gg, link will be below, in order to join my league, which is currently the most popular league on Pickstop. Sign up so that you can go head-to-head with me and all the other people that are in it. We've got 614 members. Let's try to get that to at least 700. I don't think that's too much to ask. All right. And if you want, join Scrawny's League, Maniacs League, Ryan's, and anybody else's. Maybe you want to go join Cucumber's Lounge. I'm not going to stop you. All right. And Pickstop have kind of updated a couple of things. We don't want to look at my medals necessarily, although I did very well at the Kato one where I was second place in that finish. But I think that when we actually look at some of the medals that they came up with, they've actually kind of upgraded some of the trophies for some of the bigger events, and they've given them actual trophies for, you can see the major and Kato, and you see these kind of just like normal medals for, I'd say, the more basic events, or the ones that are still prestigious in their own rights, but they aren't on the level of Katowice, Cologne, and the majors, of course. So that's going to be it. Let's get into it. All right, picks. Here we go. First one here, Maus versus Mongols. I'm going to be quick about the ones that I think are very obvious. This is a Maus 2-0 for me. I think it's actually a BO1, so it's just one map. We're going to pick NIP over Into the Breach. Into the Breach lost Volt. They lost Cypher. NIP are actually looking a little bit better with Hampus, in my opinion. I think they just have room to grow. Fnatic over Complexity. This is kind of a weird move for Fnatic, where they brought back, or they brought in Dexter to in-game lead. Mezzi is now a rifler, and instead of Nikodas, they are using Afro. Complexity just went with a simple upgrade of a Liege. I think that this is prone to an upset, possibly, but I'm still going to pick Fnatic in this one. Just think that they should probably come out a little bit stronger. OG versus 9, I'm going with 9. They've just had stronger online results lately. Apex versus Big. I'm actually going with Apex here. This is actually technically Big Academy that secured this slot via, I think, Meisterschaft it was, and Big are still playing with Tabson, but they don't have Montu, who actually did very well for Big at the Blast Fall groups, and so they're going to use Sensei, and I personally just don't have a strong beat on that guy, and so I'm going to pick Apex because the only thing that they did is they got Cognito for JL, and I think that that's not really that bad of a move. I think JL kind of stole some people's hearts at the major, but I think in terms of actual ability, Cognito's not too far behind him, and I think that the calling from Apex is really what led them to the success that they found there, and I think that's going to be replicated here at Cologne, even with a single player change. Astralis Liquid. This is also a huge coin flip. I'm going to be going with Astralis here just because they've beaten Liquid recently, and to me it was fairly convincing. I think that Astralis probably have more in the tank, and I also just think that Yakindar maybe has a little bit of ways to go as an in-game leader, whereas Blamef, even though you wouldn't say he's the strongest in-game leader out there, you would say that he's at least got some reps. And I don't just mean as a as a bodybuilder or a power lifter. I mean, he's actually got reps as an in-game leader. Okay, Monty versus Imperial. This one is also, to me, a little bit of a coin flip. Imperial did some pretty big changes here where they took out Fallen, they brought in Phelps, they brought in Henny, and they also lost Cello. And this is weird because I think Vinny is now calling for Imperial, and he's never called before. Whereas Monty, even though they lost their star player in Borup, I really think that the fact that they at least kept their caller in SDY means that they're going to at least have a little bit more stability going into this. And so I'm really on the fence with this one. I do want to pick Imperial, but I just think that if I want to use a little bit of logic here, I think that Monty should be taking it just because they have a more stable foundation, even though their calling was so bad at the major. They were so bad to watch. They basically, the only reason to watch this team was when they had a grudge match versus Navi where they just overperformed like crazy, and then also when Borup just destroyed everybody. So, I mean, not Borup, Boros, that is. And so I'm gonna actually go with, oh, this one's the toughest one for me. I'm kind of deciding right now, actually. I actually wrote down for this one that I was going to pick Monty, but the more I think about it, the more I actually kind of like Imperial. I'm going to go with Imperial. This is kind of like going with my heart right there. Furia versus Greyhound, I'm going Furia all day in that. So we got the lower bracket games here. Actually, we'll finish this ones out first. Maus versus NIP. This one's tough. This one's really tough. I'm going to go with Maus. I'm going to go with Maus there. I think that Shuhei coming back to lead the boys is going to do them wonders, and Jimpat is a slight upgrade over JDC. I think that should help them hit the ground running. Fnatic 9, It's another tough one. I'm gonna go with 9. I just think that they have more tactics, they have more reps, they just play all the time, and if they can get over some of the nerves that they have on land, then I think that 9 have a good shot at winning this one. And Fnatic really haven't given me anything, shown me anything that tells me, yeah, like they're a sure thing over 9. So I'm gonna go with maybe the slight underdog in this one, less proven team in 9, but I've just kind of been a fan of their style for a while now. Just they have so many different gimmicks, so many different plays. It feels like they're constantly reinvigorating themselves or just updating their playbook with whatever the newest meta is all the time. Apex Astralis, I'm gonna go with Apex here. It's kind of the same logic why I picked them over Big. I think Kixan is actually a very great caller, very strong caller that is. And Astralis, I think name power wise, I think in terms of individuals, I really do want to pick Astralis here. But I haven't really seen Stare is the shakiest and most inconsistent player for me ever right now. Borup hasn't really given me too many moments to smile at. I mean, he had some good rounds actually. But I'm going to go with Apex. I think they're a little bit more stable. And Imperial Furia, this is a really fun one because obviously it's a Brazilian domestic matchup, but I'm going to go with Furia there. I think Furia has a really strong potential to be a very good team moving forward. Mongols Into the Breach. This is Into the Breach. Complexity OG. We're going to... wow, this is kind of actually awkward that this is a lower game to even they're not even qualifying for Cologne via this. This is actually a pretty stacked play-in. So I'm going to go... God, I'm going to go with... I'll go with OG. I'm grimacing as I say that. No, oh God, really? They're both kind of just in this mediocre state right now. Like I don't really have much faith in either of these teams. I would like to pick Complexity because I just want to root for a North American team, but in terms of actually like what I'm getting out of OG, I think Regali might be a better opera than Holzerk. I think that Nexa's probably a slightly better caller and player than JT right now. And for me, with Complexity, they just didn't really come out of the gate swinging as hard as I thought they would when they picked up a Liege. They had one decent victory to kick things off, and then beyond that, I was pretty disappointed with the results. And so, yeah, I'll go with OG. Big Liquid. Yeah, I'm going to go with Liquid for sure in that one. Just kind of the same logic there. Wow, Big and Complexity not making it. Those are two teams I really like. Just their players and personnel. But yeah, Monty Greyhound. Yeah, I'm going to go with Monty. Not really even much of a decision. NIP Monty. Yeah, NIP for sure. Liquid over Fnatic, Astralis over OG, and we're gonna do Imperial over Into the Breach. Yeah, this went kind of fast. I thought that I was gonna have to pick how many games that they were winning. I guess that they're not doing that on this portion of the tournament. I'm pretty sure these go to BO3s. Yeah, I think like the big ones that are kind of weird and kind of sad is that like the teams I already said that are not making it. I think it's a little bit unfortunate Fnatic's not making it over. If I look at some of these teams like Imperial, like Fnatic I think would be better than Imperial. But I think the rest of these teams are pretty justified in terms of the best teams should be making it through. I can't really say that I'm upset with this. Yeah, so by the way guys, get your picks in on Pickstop. This has been a pretty simple video, and I don't know why. This was just hard. I think coming back from the player break, this is just all very difficult with trying to like read how good teams are right now because the major felt so long ago, and so it's just like you're coming into this stuff so dry and without much data to work with. I think that what's good about this is that this this Pickstop Pick'Ems is forcing me to think about teams that I haven't really thought about for a minute here. But I actually also like that this play-in is going to really show to us in a competitive environment where it's not like a glorified practice, which is sometimes how the groups feel after a big break. This is going to be teams showing their true mettle. And I really like for teams that I'm like most excited about to end this on a high note. I really think that this Maus team should be very good moving forward. I think that Furia has a chance to be good. They're kind of like, it's almost like a dark horse to be good. Like, I'm not going to say that they're going to win this tournament or even come top 4 or top 6, but I just like that Furia finally made a change, picking up Fallen and hopefully changing their style a little bit. Other teams I'm excited about, I'm actually kind of excited about Imperial. I don't know how Vinny's going to be as a caller, but in terms of just individuals on that team, I think they're all very good. So that's exciting too. NIP, I actually think that this is kind of my sleeper team now for one that I really do like, because I think Hampus is a better individual player than Alexi B by a country mile. And I think that calling wise, he's not actually that far behind. I think Alexi B, like Thorin loves Alexi B, and just to be frank, like from what I've seen in the past year, I have really no reason to love Alexi B nearly as much as Thorin does, or Kassad for that matter. There's just never been evidence in my eyes that he's actually shown that he can take a team lately, by the way, he can take a team of strong players and make them good. It's that Alexi B is so good at working with almost bad players. It almost feels kind of Daps-esque when you really think about it, where it's like Daps could kind of turn these totally average players kind of out of nowhere, pick them up, and just make a roster that can actually be pretty competitive on the world stage. But when it comes to getting the most out of star players, I feel like Alexi doesn't really find the most success with that. And for Hampus, I actually think that he could be, say, the Brolin Whisperer, or help Rez reinvigorate himself. And I think that Headtrick's going to be probably the toughest nut to crack for Hampus there, but I think that just this team has a higher ceiling now than it did with Alexi B. So yeah, these are my picks, guys. Be sure to submit, and there you go. That's going to be it for this one. We're going to be doing more videos for Cologne coming up. I think the next one I've got is going to be coming out in Thursday, actually. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be kicking things off again, guys. The content grind is back on. Be sure to obviously follow on Last Free Nation for the podcast that I do with Thorin, Kassad, and everybody else that are our guests. Be sure to also follow Last Free Nation Sports, where I am actually talking with Thorin in a regular podcast about the NBA. That is something that I am really excited about. We have so many ideas for podcasts that we're doing about the NBA space, and when the season kicks off for there, I'm going to be handling and juggling the NBA and Counter-Strike. So if you like me, hey, why not get more of me? As always, being toxic is a choice.